Hello there, yeah, so back with the Orel for, what will this be, the third video now? Yeah, excellent. Okay, so in the last video I built a cable for it and powered it up and identified what I think all that additional circuitry is doing, which is making the computer, along with new ROMs, run like a 48K Sinclair Spectrum, which shouldn't be a problem for this because it's basically a Spectrum clone. But it does come with the original ROMs, and I thought in this video I would reinstall these. Hopefully that additional circuitry won't cause it a problem. Power it up and see what it does. I'm guessing that's number 1 with the big 1 written on it. And oh, it looks like they've drawn an arrow as well just to help identification in reinstalling them. That's really handy. Just separate. Can't see any damage on the legs, so I don't see why they shouldn't physically go in. Whether or not they'll work, that's a different matter. So presumably they go like that. Looking at the markings, that would make sense. Yep. Okay, let's crack the computer open. So I'm assuming this will be a simple case of just pulling these two out, and they are labelled 1 and 2, so I can see what order they're supposed to go back in. Can I get my chip puller in around this board? Or do I need to move that out the way? I'd rather not. Oh yeah, we're okay. Now, well, that came out rather easy. That wasn't in tight at all. And the second one, yep. Okay. That is not a very tight socket. Just let me ground myself before I touch these chips. Okay. So, following the arrow, 1. Okay. And 2. Right. Let's see what it does. Right, it's back together loosely. I haven't put any screws back in, but it should be fine enough to test. So I'll put power to it and we'll see what happens. And I haven't tried this myself yet, so you'll be seeing it the first time as I do. Let's see. Hopefully it won't just explode. Power lights come on and oh, there we go. Yeah. That's a bit more like what I was expecting it to do in the first place. That is a Russian ROM, or a Soviet ROM. I think these were actually made in the Ukraine. Same keyword entry. Ah, but do my extra keys work? Yes, they do. So all those keys that weren't working, if you remember in the last video, if you've seen it, now do something. Tab works, that works. Excellent, okay. So there's nothing wrong with the keyboard, it was just the ROM couldn't handle it, okay. Want to play some games? Yeah, let's try the same games we used in the last video, I think, and yeah, we'll see if they run the same. Cool. Let's go with that again, because it's handy. Seems to have loaded exactly the same as it did with the Spectrum ROM. Yeah. Yeah, it seems the same. Cool, well that one seems to still work. Let me get the joystick and we'll try Stonkers again. Alright, that seems to work. And it seems to run exactly the same as it did with the other ROMs. Okay. Let's see if the joystick still works. No, I don't want a keyboard. Come on. No, I don't want a Sinclair joystick. I don't think. Oh, rubbish menu system. Yes, that worked last time, so let's go for that. And let's have an easy game. And yeah, we appear to be functioning just nicely. Okay, cool, right. I wonder if that might be pushing it too far, but I really want to see if that'll work. Okay, right, that seems to work. Well, so far. What's my access code? P01. Oh, well, fine. Alright. C17. Ah, lovely. I just must have typed it wrong. Okay. Oh, we've even got some beeper music. There we go. How do you play this game? Let's go for Kempston again. That seems to work. Oh. Oh. It's not brilliant. It keeps freezing. No, keeps locking up. No, it's not good. My fire button isn't firing, so it's just telling me to pick a new turtle each time, so it's, yeah. So there's some compatibility issues there, but what's to be expected, right? Well, there you go. It sort of ran the turtles, but it kept freezing, so I don't know if that was down to the joystick input or it was just an incompatibility with the machine itself. I don't know, but the fact that it ran at all is kind of cool, actually. I think I'm gonna leave the original ROMs in it. I'd like to get hold of some original software for it, something that was specifically written for it, and have a look at that maybe. That'd be kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, what I'd like to do with this now, if I can do it without causing any sort of damage, because there's a few fragile stray wires in there, is dismantle it and give everything a good clean. Especially this keyboard, it's kind of rotten. Oh, there's some big caps in there. Okay, so I've started to remove the keys, and I noticed that some of the springs were different lengths. So I thought I'll leave them in where they are, and then they'll, you know, there's no chance of mismatching things. But honestly, I don't think it matters because they're all over the place. I mean, tilt it a little bit so you can get the idea of what I'm talking about. But they're all different sizes. They're all different types of spring. So I don't know if it came out the factory like that. I would like to think not. Or it's had some sort of repair done in the past. But yeah, it's had any old thing jammed in there. Yeah. But the keys do need to come off because they are vile. I don't want to use them like that. But if you look inside around the edge, you'll see that black ring. That's a magnet. And this is how the key works. So let me just get a bit closer. They are reed switches. So there's no mechanical press switch here. It's simply, a reed switch is simply a set of contacts that's operated by a magnet. So when the key pushes down and encapsulates this little reed switch, it'll register a key press. That is nice. I bet it wasn't cheap either. That should be very reliable though. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. They came off keys right next to each other. Right, the main board is rotten, but I think I'm going to have to be very, very careful in the way I clean it, because if this rat's nest gets damaged, I'm not going to have a clue what's supposed to connect where. They've only used two colours, and all the same colours seem to group in the same place, so I'll never reconnect it, so I'll just be very careful. Okay, so it's the next day and the case has all been cleaned and put back together. The keys have all been cleaned. I haven't reassembled them yet. So it's a bit nicer to handle now because it was absolutely filthy and my fingers went black taking those keys off. Might or might not see it on the camera, I don't know, but it still looks a little bit yellowed and grubby. It's not, that is the plastic itself where it started to yellow. It just makes it look a bit dirty. You probably see it on this key actually, if I don't know how good this camera is, but you probably see a line where it's faded. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's get this keyboard back together. Let's get the springs in. And it still amazes me that they've used reed switches for this, because that can't have been a cheap way of doing it. But it should be a very reliable way of doing it, because there's no membrane to wear out and there's no contact to get dirty as such. Because all the reed switches I've seen have been encapsulated in like a glass bubble, so they can't really get dirty. So they should be incredibly reliable. But yeah, never seen that before. Anyway, maybe they save money on springs, I don't know, because they've used all sorts of oddball size springs. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, whatever. Let's put it back together. There we go. So yeah, I think that covers the old Orel machine. Seems to be running quite nicely now, and now it's nice and clean. I'm not scared of touching it anymore. And I've got Batman running, so I'm quite happy. Now, I tried using this for the joystick and it kept locking up the same way it did with the Turtles game. So I think that game was probably running correctly. It was the joystick causing the problems, but since I've switched to keys, we seem fine. and it runs absolutely correctly. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. I think I've covered all I need to cover on this computer. I will thank you very much as always for watching. It's very much appreciated. Stay safe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.